The only way this deal gets done is a sub 2 deal. It's the only way to get that deal done.
Absolutely.
So when people are like, well, sub 2 deals, where do you find them? Right here. So Victoria, what city are you in North Carolina?
Right now I'm in Durham, North Carolina. I was just showing a couple
love
houses.
Durham.
Yeah,
Durham's
Raleigh,
such a
Durham
great spot.
area.
So you've got a deal, I heard.
I do.
Can you tell me about it?
It's been a day. Yes, we were at the closing table today. This wonderful family with 4 little kids. They had just gone this morning to their walkthrough, the final walkthrough for the house they were purchasing. And they had theirs under contract. It was the day of closing. So they're selling their house.
Are you representing them on the new purchase? Are you representing them on the new purchase or on the sell of their existing?
Both. So the listing agent and also helping them buy.
Got it. Okay.
So we get to the closing table, Pace. This is the clincher. We get to the closing table and all of a sudden we find out right then and there that the buyer is walking, that was under contract to purchase their home.
Wow.
Right after we had done the final walkthrough. So we're sitting there and this poor little family just got that news and we're all just devastated. I mean, tears, the whole 9 yards. It's a mess.
That this happened today?
Yes. And I'm a fighter. I'm not a quitter. And when I represent someone, I am going to do whatever I can do to make something happen because I can't just sit and do nothing, right? And I thought, who do I know in my world, in my ecosystem that can help me out? And I said, Pace Morby. That's who I'm going to call.
Wow.
So I went back and I looked in my emails from our first deal. I found Shelly and Molly and I thought that's how I'm going to get to Pace. And I said, Shelly, I don't know if you can help me, but it's a mess. I need your help today. She said, I think Pace owes me. And she said, what? And I was like, he was going to come to North Carolina and do a video and he never made it, but you have been very busy with that.
I will make it
baby.
For sure. I will for sure make it this year for sure.
Yeah. What a beautiful family. Family comes first. So, but anyway, I just said, I wonder if someone on the call tonight might be looking for an investment property. It's in Elon, North Carolina, right down from the university. It is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It has a fenced-in yard.
All right, let me pull this up real fast. So you think it's an investment property, not a family property? Like you don't think it's a retail buyer that needs to buy it?
I'm looking for a cash buyer because of the situation at hand. They needed to sell in order to buy. And then our buyer walked, of course, and that's why we're in this position. So now I've got a domino effect and just trying to make something happen for the sweet family that had no idea. We were all blindsided the day of the closing.
Okay, so do they have an existing mortgage?
That's terrible. They do. They have a lot of equity in it, though.
Okay, and do they need the equity to buy the next house?
Yes.
Like you're 100% sure of that? Are you sure? You're pretty, I think, okay, so you've got what do you think the retail value is of this? 340, 350?
Definitely. Easily. 340,000. So they can purchase their next house, which is also in Elon.
Is there no way that we could do a sub 2 deal?
I haven't talked to them about it, to be honest, because I was just trying to have a conversation. I thought the quickest way for us to make things happen for the situation, because we also have, everyone's moved out of their home. We have U-Hauls, the whole 9 yards. It's just a hot mess. So I thought if I could find a cash buyer, that would be the best scenario for them.
Right.
But I know creative finance does work in a lot of cases. It did with my first deal, but I haven't presented it to them because it was just so devastating.
I can tell you,
time's not really on our hands.
Makes sense. I mean, a cash deal is going to close the same speed as a creative finance deal. The biggest challenge you'll have is the home that they have under contract to move into. Are they willing to wait a week while you figure this out?
Well, that's why I took action right away and got on the phone with Shelly and Molly and, tried to figure out how I can talk to you about what our options are. I did call the agent immediately and tell her what happened. And so she hopefully is going to give me an opportunity tonight to work on a couple options so that they'll buy us some time. We have 7-day grace period here in North Carolina per the contract. So that gives us a week.
I'm willing to do a sub 2 deal. I don't buy cash anymore.
I know.
However, we have 1,000 people in here that are all, who's in North Carolina right now? How many people in here are in North Carolina? Guys, it's the purchase contract is $340. Okay. So she's looking for $340 on this house. She already had it under contract. They canceled. So she needs $340. Why do they need $340? Because that's what they just had it under contract for to sell. And that's what they're shooting for. Now, for me, I won't buy a cash. But what I would do is I would take over their existing mortgage, give them some cash down as a down payment, and their equity, their remaining equity, I would make payments towards it for a little bit until I could refinance them out. I'd do something like that. And we could probably close them. Yeah, we'd just do a hybrid deal, but I would probably close in 3 days, and maybe we could get them into their next house depending on what does the other underwriter or processor say for their new loan, and how do we figure that out? I think Shelly and Molly could figure that out behind the scenes. I'm happy to buy the deal, but let's see. People say go with Nathan. Let me pull up the chat. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Nathan Selleck says that he has 4 cash buyers in North Carolina.
Okay, cool. So Nathan Selleck says, what's her number? I have tons of cash buyers for North Carolina. Victoria, in order for Nathan to make money, because he's going to find a cash buyer that's going to come in, bring money to the table, how could he get paid? Would he need to sell it at a little bit higher than 340 so you can still make your full commission? Or are you willing to reduce some of your commission to make sure this works and Nathan can get paid some of the money?
My daughter's the co-lister on the property. So it would be great if I could arrange something to make everyone get paid.
Could you guys reduce some of your fee a little bit so Nathan could get some of the money? Or does Nathan need to upsell and wholesale at a higher rate to his cash buyer?
I would upsell a little bit if he didn't mind. That'd be great.
Okay. How can he get in touch with you?
You want me to put it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Man, I love having a family of people that help you out.
Yeah, that's what this is all about.
I know. I love you guys.
How long have they lived in the house, Victoria? The house they're selling, how long have they been in there?
I think it's 2018.
I will let you and Nathan work on the cash transaction. I'm letting you know I am open to buying that property subject to only. And I'm still happy to get you guys paid your commissions. But I would need to take over their existing rate and whatever amount of equity they need to get into the next deal. I'm happy to look at that too. What I need you to do is go back to your sellers and say, hey, I've got a handful of cash buyers I'm communicating with. I also have a very unique buyer that said he's willing to take over your existing mortgage. Can we get in are you guys open to that conversation? And if so, what does that mortgage look like? Are you guys open to doing that? We also would need to talk to their underwriter, their loan processor for their new loan to make sure that their loan processor knows how to do that if the seller decides the answer is yes. So while you work with Nathan, while you work with these other cash buyers that are going to reach out to you, email you, text you, all that kind of stuff, I would suggest opening up the conversation with your sellers and saying, hey, I do have a weirdo named Pace that would take over your existing mortgage. Is that something you guys are open to? And if they are open to it, then we should have another conversation tomorrow morning.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll definitely reach out to them tonight and let them know that sub 2, I'll explain that because I did do one deal where we did sub 2 seller finance with a VA loan and they bought a house. So yeah.
Okay.
Sounds fantastic.
Cool. Okay. You get back to us. Let us know. Okay.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yep. Get on the phone to Nathan. Go sell that house. Victoria, thank you so much for coming on today. Let us know. Come back to us. Let Shelly know what's up. Happy to hang out with you and see if we can get that deal done. Sub 2 deal, I'm going to tell you right now, if Nathan Selleck finds a buyer for this, then Nathan Selleck is amazing. Like insanity. Why? Tell me why it's highly unlikely that somebody will buy this for cash. Why?
Because the turnaround time is so small?
Nope.
No? Because of the equity? Somebody's saying the retail price is too high.
Real estate investors don't pay retail prices.
Okay.
They're looking for a deal. Do you truly understand what's going on this situation? Or do you want me to kind of like map it out? Or you got it?
Yeah. Mapping it out, I think would be really helpful for my brain.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think everybody kind of feels the same way. It's kind of nice to get a little whiteboard session, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's what's going on. Every deal starts with what?
A seller.
There you go. The seller here is a family, right? She's representing this family. They got a couple kids, mom and dad type of thing. So here's the family. They decide, hey, what are we going to do? We're going to go hire an agent. That's Victoria, right? They go put it on the market, right? She puts it on the MLS. That MLS is called the real estate market. What ends up happening is there's another agent that is looking at this deal. Who knows what that agent's name is, but there's another agent looking at this deal on behalf of an actual family. So this is what happens. This family is simultaneously saying, we want to buy a house. This family is simultaneously saying, we want to sell our house, right? And the way that they're communicating with each other is through a complicated mess called all of this. Okay. This is called the on-market process, right? This is the MLS. This is where agents trade deals. They look at the on-market listings. And what happens is Victoria gets with them. She does what's called a listing agreement, and she gets approval from that family to go and put that house on the MLS. This family is simultaneously not knowing that the first family even exists. And they say, hey, we want a 4-bed, 2-bath house in this Raleigh-Durham area, blah, 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 blah. This agent then goes over to the MLS, types in a search. Literally, that's what they do. That's how valuable agents are in some of these situations. They literally are searching, and it pulls up a filter and it pops up this house that we're talking about. By the way, agents don't look for houses on Zillow. Only idiots look for houses on Zillow. Okay. Zillow is not for actual deals. This property on Elon, or in Elon, Cutter is the name of the house, pops up for the second agent. Okay. So what happens is this family right here, they decide we want that house. So what they do is they tell this agent to go and submit an offer to that agent and say, here's our offer. We want you to have an offer of $340,000 and we will close escrow in 90 days. Okay, kind of typical, 90 days for a retail transaction. Divine Bunch says it exists for nosy people like me that just want to look at pictures of houses. There you go. Me too. Believe me, guys, I use Zillow too. I'm just not going there to look for deals. I'm basically being nosy too. I totally get it. So this agent, what do? This agent right here, Victoria, she says, I will take this offer and I will submit it to my client. See how clunky and messy this is? It's like so many steps, so many steps. Totally get it. It's the way it's always been done.
Yeah.
And so Victoria goes to this family, which is the family she's representing, and she's talking about that is in tears. And they say, yes, we accept. And they officially start escrow, which means start the transaction.
Yeah.
And so that 90 days starts. Now, what's cool about that is that Victoria selling their house has also been asked by that family that says, hey, once you sell this house for us and this box is checked and we're all good, we want you to help us find another house for our family to move into. So Victoria has now also, this is funny, Victoria is out there doing the same thing for this family right here. She's now the buyer's agent, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now she's out there for the family that just sold their house to the family and they're under contract. She now has 90 days to help them go find another place to live. Yes. So Victoria is getting paid to sell their house. She's also getting paid to represent them to buy a house down the block. What ends up happening is she goes on the MLS. She finds another house that's under contract. And that family is like, yay, we got a family under contract to buy our house. And Victoria then found us another house and we're going to go get under contract with them. And these transactions have to kind of be timed perfectly. So the first house gets sold, they get their money, they then roll into the second house. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So what happened today is the buyer of their first house, this big mess that I made, this buyer, this family right here that was represented by this agent, that buyer bailed today. So this $340,000 offer, this family right here that said they were going to do the deal in 90 days and give them $340,000 literally today, right before the contracts were signed and closed and everything was done, they walked away. They canceled the contract.
Yeah.
Which is sad for Victoria, which is sad for the family. And then what ended up happening is the other house that Victoria went to go find them, that agent now is sitting there going, what? the heck? Think about how many people are involved in this situation. Now, why do I think this is going to be really hard for this agent, and why I think that the only way to solve this problem is creative finance.
Yeah.
Is now what Victoria is doing is she's going, all right, well, I'll go find a cash buyer. Why does she have to find a cash buyer instead of just putting it back on the MLS again and finding another family, Alex?
So that her family that she's representing can afford to get that other house that they're looking for.
Well, they could afford to get the house if she put it back on the MLS and sold it again to another family using the MLS in the same method.
Oh, okay.
Why would you want a cash offer?
So that she can get paid out too, and she can get it closed?
Nope. This is what's challenging, Alex, is you've never bought a house before, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
How did you know?
Well, because you would know that when you go to buy a house, everybody tells you it's going to take 30 days. It's an absolute lie. It does not take 30 days. It takes 90 to 180 days to buy a house.
Okay.
Everybody will lie to you. They will all lie to you. Your agent will lie to you. Your lender will lie to you. The escrow officer, everybody will lie to you. They know it's going to take a long time. Now, there are transactions that will close relatively quickly, but the traditional transactions are of like somebody going to a bank and getting approved for a loan and taking that loan and bringing it to the seller and saying, here's my loan, I'm going to pay off your loan. And that whole thing, which is what's happening on 99% of real estate transactions, takes a long time.
Yeah.
So if Victoria says, crap, we lost our buyer, let's go put the house back on the market. Guess what she has? She has to now wait for another agent to represent another family that's willing to buy that specific house, then open escrow and go through another 90-day transaction at least to run the risk of potentially having them cancel as well.
Yeah.
So we've got now wasted time, wasted energy. And what's also going to happen is the house that family is already married to. Like, think about the kids of that family have already gone to the new house, picked their bedroom, told their, like, here's the new school we're going to. Here's the new, I'm going to buy this bed. The mom, I can already guarantee you, the mom has already started buying furniture for the new house.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. Okay. Mm-hmm. So everybody's emotional. It just happened a couple of hours ago. This is why wholesaling and creative finance, it like comes in and solves the problem, right? There's a significant problem here, right?
Mm-hmm.
A cash buyer, Alex, could buy this property tomorrow and not have to go through the arduous journey of loan approvals and credit checks and appraisals and inspections and all the things that take 90 days to buy a house. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So why does she want a cash buyer? Is because a cash buyer is the only person that can buy the house fast enough in order for the family to not lose the house they were just about to move into. Now, let me tell you why I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to pay cash for that property.
Okay.
I'm an investor, right? Not somebody that's going to move into the house.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. A family that's willing to move into a house does not care about what the property is necessarily worth, and they don't care about the ability to cash flow in that property. They're raising their kids there. Did your parents, when they were raising you in their house, ever wake up in the morning and go, oh my gosh, Alex, we're no longer cash flowing on the house that we're living in?
No, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about like, oh, is the school going to be a good area for my kids? Like,
boom.
Do I want
to,
is it walkable?
Is it close to my job? Is it close to public transportation? They're thinking about those things. They're not thinking about anything else, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do real estate investors care about? We care about actually making money with our investment. And
yeah.
let's you and I have a new business idea that we're going to run together. Okay. You and I want to start a car dealership. Okay.
Okay.
In order for you and I to make money on a car dealership, we're going to have to buy our cars at a low price and then resell them at a higher price on our car dealership. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would it make sense for us to go to another car dealership and pay full price of their cars, drive those cars off their lot, and then pull them over to our lot and resell them on our car lot?
No, because it would automatically depreciate.
Now you figured out why a cash buyer would not buy this house directly at a retail price, is because they will immediately, here's the thing, Guess what's happening? You buy a house at 340. You did not buy a house at 340 because you have closing costs and other things. It actually ends up costing you more money than your purchase price. So you automatically paid over retail value. Write this down, everybody. This is really important for you guys to understand this. Every family that's ever bought a house has paid over retail value for that house. How? Well, because they paid the retail value that was on the MLS, but then they paid $20,000 in additional fees to close and escrow and all of those types of things. They are paying over retail value for every house. So the price of 340, an investor is not going to buy that at 340. They're buying it at 340 plus 20 grand. They're paying $360,000 for that $340,000 house. Elvia says, I've never seen it that way. I'm telling you, 99% of words that come out of my mouth, most people have never seen it that way. Okay. Yep. $20,000 is because of closing costs. Guess what? The buyer's paying those closing costs. So if the retail price is 340, I know I'm going to end up actually paying 360 for that thing.
Yeah.
What should a real estate investor actually pay for that?
Oof.
Well, it depends. It depends on what your strategy is. Okay. So let's go back to the car dealership. If our strategy was to not actually sell our cars, but actually rent them out, we're going to think differently about how we buy the cars in the first place than if we're just trying to resell them, right? It's a different exit strategy. Hey, Alex, are we going to go buy cars and rent them out? Or are we going to buy cars and sell them for a quick profit? Little bit different monetization strategy, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to look at things differently. So you're going to have real estate investors look at the house and go, okay, what can I do with that vehicle? Every house to a real estate investor is nothing but a vehicle to make money. How am I going to make money on that property? Well, let me tell you, we talked about this a couple of days ago. I said, anybody that actually uses cash to buy a house is an absolute idiot. Why?
Because you can use other people's money.
You could and should use other people's money. And more importantly, that $340,000 that I would be buying that house for could be allocated somewhere way better for me to make more money than buying a house at $340,000, full retail value.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I now know, okay, what buying it at $340,000 has done for me is if we're going to buy that vehicle to turn around and resell it to somebody else, can I buy that vehicle at $340,000 and resell it to somebody else at a higher price point? The answer is no, I cannot.
Yeah, if you're not paying if you're paying retail value, you're not going to be able to do anything to the home to make it worth more money.
Right. The neighborhood only allows, right? All the other houses in that neighborhood only allow me to sell that thing for 340. That's the top of the top of the top. So if I'm paying the top plus closing costs, guess what I'm actually asking somebody to do? I pay 340 cash.
Yeah.
I now have paid $20,000 extra in closing costs. So I'm at 360. I'm going to ask another buyer to buy it from me at 370 so I can make a $10,000 bump so that they can actually close on it at 390. Does that make sense for anybody on this planet to do that deal?
No.
Okay, my friends. So I can tell you, I'm not going to criticize Victoria at all. This is not a criticism. This is an absolute observation. Why would a cash buyer ever pay for this house at $340,000? If I go cash purchase and I pay $340, nobody's going to buy it from me at a higher price because I already paid the highest amount. So there's no flipping. We're not going to be able to flip this house.
Yeah, I don't see anybody that would go for that. Is there any other exit strategy that you think would ever?
Oh, who told you to ask that question?
I learned it from you.
So there are a couple of other strategies that you could use here. You could do a midterm rental. But if we do a midterm rental, we're probably going to have to furnish the property. We could do a pad split where now we're going to spend a lot more money on the renovation and like dicing up the rooms and all that kind of stuff. So honestly, I look at a deal like this that's going to have a negative cash flow out of the gate. If my only exit strategy is a little bit more risky, I would say that this is just not a deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Elvia says no depreciation. Elvia, I'm not going to go and put $100,000 down on a house and lose money just so I can get tax benefits. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so let's have a conversation. The conversation I would say is, why not just let me take over the existing payments?
Why not?
That's what my question was to the agent.
And she seemed a little hesitant.
She was hesitant because here's why.
It sounded like she felt like it would take a longer time to close.
Everybody thinks that sub 2 and creative finance is challenging. It is the most simple transaction you will ever do in your life. There's nobody involved. There's no banks involved. There's no appraisers involved. There's no inspections. You have so many less people involved. You can close a sub 2 deal in 24 hours. So the thing that I would say is I go to the agent. There's no way I'm buying this house unless you let me take over the existing payments. If you let me take over the existing payments, then 340 becomes valuable because I'm not actually buying the house at 340. What I'm actually buying is a mortgage.
Absolutely.
I get a lower interest rate. I don't have to put a big freaking 30% down payment down. I could come in there and I could probably give them $20,000. Now, if their interest rate's 5% and they have a payment somewhere around $1,500, I can cash flow with a much smaller amount of money. And so the purchase price no longer is significant to me. What is significant is how low the rate is and how low of a down payment I can get. And that would make the deal make sense.
Yeah.
Amelia says, but the sellers are buying another house. What does that have to do with anything?
You're still taking over the payment. You're taking that burden off of them.
The question she's asking is she's saying, well, how did they get approved for a second? Guys, that is such a boogeyman bullcrap thing. Amelia must be an agent. Let's have a conversation. She must be an agent, or she's definitely somebody who's bought houses for herself in the past. I would guess, Amelia Mosley, what's up? Didn't realize it was Amelia Mosley, my friend. What's up, Amelia? How you doing?
What's up, Pace?
Amelia, you know that I can have more than one loan in my name, right?
Well, you could, but
Okay, I'd be the worst candidate for it. I don't have a W-2 and I'm unemployed. So how can I have more than one loan in my name?
Right, but you have assets, you have capital, you have a lot more. Like if somebody had a W-2 and they made $70,000 a year.
Amelia, have you gotten a loan before?
Yes.
Okay. Could you go get another loan right now?
Yes, I could.
Could you get a third one?
Yes, I could.
Could you get a fourth one?
You mean from like a bank?
No, from Santa Claus.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'm thinking like I could do private money or I could do hard money. So like,
so Amelia, your question in the comments was specifically around banks approving her for a second loan. So of course we're talking about banks for another loan, not for private money. I'm getting you to a point based on your question.
Yeah. So no, I probably couldn't get a fourth one.
Okay. Why not?
Because my assets and my collateral and my income, I mean, I guess it depends on what the numbers are, but if I'm looking at like 300.
Could you get a fifth one? Let's say the numbers were great. Could you get a fifth one?
Probably not.
Okay. Could you get a sixth one? I'm looking for the time when Amelia just says no to something.
No. Oh, no. Okay, no.
We don't use probably not in our lives, just FYI. No, guys, we don't use probably yes, probably not. It is either yes or it's no.
Okay.
At what point could you not get another loan? Third house, fourth house, fifth house, what is it?
I don't know. There's so much that goes into it. Is the house 50,000? Is the house 300,000? I mean, I don't know. Like I would say fifth house, no.
Okay. So guys, here's what it all comes down to. It all comes down to something called DTI, debt to income ratio. It has nothing to do with the price of the house, has nothing to do with the interest rates, has nothing to do with your income really at the end of the day for a second house. Right. What it has to do with is if you have a debt on an existing deal, let's say you go buy a 3-bed, 2-bath house, and Amelia, you decide to go buy another 3-bed, 2-bath house, but you choose to rent out the first one.
Right.
Guess what happens? The renter's income goes against your debt to income, which gives you the ability to go buy another house.
Yes.
What happens on the second one when you decide to buy a third one and you rent out the second one, Amelia?
Same thing.
My gosh. So it has nothing to do with your ability or how much money your W-2 is. It has to do with what your debt to income ratio is. So if that's the case, by the way, that's how it is in all 50 states.
Yeah.
In all situations, if that's the case, then what keeps the seller from buying another house if we can show that I'm the one paying the payments on their behalf?
Oh, I don't know enough about sub 2, so I didn't know that could be looked
Well, this is why I'm leading you down the path, is so I can teach you by barking at you.
Yes. Bark away, but go easy. I'm sick today.
Well, this was me barking at you. So I led you down this path so that you could feel what it feels like to be like, I don't know. The reality is Christian says, can I get 7 loans? Christian, I have 2,000 doors in my portfolio. They all have loans on them and none of them are on my credit. You can have unlimited sub 2 and seller financed loans ever for the rest of your life. You don't need any of that. Now, as a seller, Amelia, if I can show her new lender that I'm making the payments, why would her new lender not take that off her debt to income ratio?
I guess they would. That would be considered income.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
It was that simple. I'm going to start.
It is truly that simple.
I'm joining sub 2 and I'm going to start sub 2ing ASAP.
So I'm glad that you have gotten to that conclusion. So does me taking over the seller's existing payments and keeping the loan in their name does not actually keep them from buying another house. We've already figured that out, correct?
Yes, we have. Okay,
so the only way to get that deal done, the one in North Carolina, is to do a sub 2 deal. It's the only way. And that deal is not going to get, I'm saying it, I feel bad for Victoria, but I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody buys that for cash, that person needs to be our cash buyer on every single deal. Cause I could just go on the retail market and go, hey, idiot, buy these, take $10,000, all these houses on Privy right now.
Just buy them all, please.
Just buy them all. Does anybody think that somebody's going to be able to buy that house at $340,000 cash?
Definitely not anymore. I don't know. Nathan sounded so confident. I wanted to believe in him.
I think Nathan definitely has cash buyers, but here's what his cash buyers are going to do. They're going to go, can I just buy it sub 2? That's what they're going to say. And they would have to buy it probably probably $100,000 less. They'd probably have to buy it $240,000 and then they would buy it and keep it as a rental. Maybe $75,000 less. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm going to text her and say, the only solution is a sub 2 deal. And I'm going to tell her, I will bet $1,000 that no cash buyer will pay full retail. Now, Nathan's cash buyers are not on here, so I'm not like pushing them away. I'm not causing issues on her deal, but I'm just letting her know, hey, I'm willing to bet you $1,000 that no cash buyer will pay full retail. Get me mortgage information. So now I'm doing is I already know it's not a cash deal, Alex. So I'm going to the agent saying, get me the mortgage information. So what do I want? I want interest rate.
Yep.
I want mortgage payment. I also need to know how much they owe and how much equity they are willing to finance. I personally think that we're going to get that house under contract as a sub 2. Why do I think that?
Because buying it cash is not going to work.
It's impossible. The only way this deal gets done is a sub 2 deal. It's the only way to get that deal done.
Absolutely.
So when people are like, well, sub 2 deals, where do you find them? Right here. Right here. There you go. Seller does not have any other option. That's correct. No, the seller does have another option, just FYI. The option is for them to cancel the home that their kids have their heart set on and to put the house back on the MLS and go through a whole other 90-day or 120-day journey to sell their house. And then they would have to go find another house. Amelia says that's sad. It is very sad. It is sad that that's exactly what's going to probably happen, which they'll get an even lower price if they put it back on the MLS. Why is Julie so right about that? She says they'll get a lower price on their house if they put it back on the MLS. Why is that the case, Alex?
Because the market is constantly changing.
Gosh dang it. I love your guesses. That's really good. And that actually is very true. But here is what is really happening.
Okay.
It's all public record when a house cancels contract.
Ooh, so that is like a ding on them.
Okay. If somebody had a house under contract, that deal was going to get closed. And then all of a sudden public record shows that the listing has been canceled. It fell out of contract. What do you think the next buyer is going to do? They're going to look at the history and they're going to go, this thing fell out of contract. What is wrong with this house?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
They're automatically going to think that something's wrong.
So now what's going to happen is Victoria, the agent who's now going to represent the seller again, she's going to have to field all of these phone calls. And what I didn't want to ask, I should have asked, but I didn't want to ask her on the live is why would the buyers have canceled? Why would the buyers have gone through everything that they've gone through? 90 days, by the way. The buyers are on this journey too.
Yeah.
Why would they have canceled?
I know. Somebody was asking about it in the chat. What's wrong with the house?
Exactly. Now you get the
Or they even have
problem.
to do that.
Casey and Jeanette said credit issue. No, you would have known it was a credit issue long before all of that. Bank loan expired. No, that's pretty rare. Found a cheaper deal. Nope. It was big, whatever it was. They could have found, I doubt they would have gotten to that point, because here's what's going to happen to that buyer, Alex. We've learned what earnest money is, right? Okay, EMD. That buyer who canceled on Victoria's seller is going to lose all of their earnest money for walking away from the deal. So probably $3,000 or $4,000. They're willing to walk away from $3,000 or $4,000. That's how significant of a problem this is. Somebody says they don't have the down payment. Nope, they would have already had the down payment sitting at escrow. Do they sometimes give it back? No, you would never give earnest money back to somebody that cancels that late in the game. Are you kidding me? I would take their dog. I'd be like, give me your earnest money and your dog. Oh, Travis Bailey says, come on now. We know it was a divorce. That has happened. I could see that happening. It could be something really significant on the side of the buyer side, where maybe their husband and wife ended up going through a divorce, right? But whatever it was a significant issue. Person wants to lose $3,000 to $4,000 earnest money. Yep. Cold feet? I don't think so. What was the buyer's pain? I don't know. That's what we're talking about. So it was a significant problem. So when we talk about pain and we talk about motivation, has this story with Victoria helped you understand why a seller would just let me take over their existing mortgage?
Absolutely. I could see the pain reflected in her eyes from the people that she was trying to sell the house for.
What about, did this help you understand why somebody would not pay full retail if you were an investor?
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no way to make money.
No way. You gotta have it cash flowing if you're going to be making money on your investments, if you're actually going to be making money on your investments.
Love all of this. All right. So here's what I think we do. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to try and get this house under contract sub 2. And by tomorrow, I'll know the mortgage rate. I'll know the situation of the seller, and we'll follow up, and I'll see if I can get this house under contract tomorrow sub 2. And what we're going to do, you and I, Alex, is we're going to assign it, and I'm going to let you make money on this first assignment fee on a sub 2 deal.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds so exciting.
Okay. We are going to resume tomorrow morning, guys, 8:00 Arizona time. Alex won't be here until I get the property under contract, and we will resume, get this property under contract tomorrow, and show you guys how to assign this bad boy. Good job today, Alex. Great job.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
All right, cool. Guys, thank you so much for day 3 of the Elephant Challenge. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 8:00 Arizona time. We'll see you guys then. See ya.